With the holidays around the corner, we all start thinking about what we are grateful for. The holidays can be difficult for many people that lost their parent, like Jim Beran, but we think back on what they have taught us. At the end of the day, we all want to touch people's lives, leave an impact, and be remembered when we're gone. Jim is joining me today to tell us his story of the biggest short guy that influenced him. And Jim, that guy happens to be your dad.
It does, but actually, I wrote a book about the greatest person I ever knew or met, and that person just happens to be my father. I mean, hopefully every kid's father is their hero, but as I got older and I really understood what was important in life, he redefined greatness for me in a holistic sense. And as he would say, his story would be worth looking over and not overlooking.
Oh, what a great way to put that. And I know, kind of, reading up on your dad, you said, a lot of people, maybe celebrities or maybe, a politician, people know all of the influences they have put on people, but an accountant, that is what makes this story so unique, that, like you said, a story that maybe wouldn't have been told, but you took the time to put it into a book and really let everybody know, not just on you, but on a lot of people's lives. He impacted them.
Well, yeah, I think you'd love that you notified as accountant. It's an unrecognized profession, but yeah. So many people work behind the scenes, but my father was amazing. He was one of the leading businessmen in Los Angeles in the 80s and certainly one of the civic leaders. But I think what defines his life is it's love, not just for his family, which is incredible, but for his community. And the love story with my mother it's a love story for the ages. I brought something here. If we have a chance, we'll touch on it. But
no,
that was the inspiration for the book. His life story was so compelling that it turned into more of a biography. But the original inspiration for the book was every night he was away from my mother for 22 years, he would write her a letter by hand. And then he would take these letters, and wherever he was, he traveled a lot, postcards, whatever, hotel stationery. He would give them to his secretaries. They would compile them. They would type onto these stationaries. And then she'd get all of the letters from that year on her birthday. Oh. And there's, I call it 14 linear feet. And there's 14 linear feet. There's a picture of all the books. But the letters are amazing. They're reflections on life, what's happening in society. It's a real timepiece to go back and read what's going on in the world at the time. And his insights and understandings were incredible.
Well, I know for you it must have been a little bit of therapy, a little bit of made you feel good to kind of tell your dad's story. What are you hoping somebody takes away from reading it?
A couple things. First of all, there's life lessons. Without him preaching, he never preached anything. Yeah. The life lessons to really attain personal greatness, achieve real happiness, and contribute to a great society. It's all within us, and his life example is in there. The other thing is that I learned that everybody has a story, and people really need to take the time to sit down and try to put that together, not for a book, just to have it, but because I can tell you there's more to my dad's life that I don't know that I know.
Right.
Because he was old school, never talked about much. He was in the war, incredible events in the war, that kind of stuff. But the letters tell us a lot.
I bet. And I know, as we're saying, kind of like life lessons, and what I know you kind of hit on a couple of those lessons that you really cherish that you took away from him. What are some of those that really touch you?
Well, I think the biggest life lesson, and he would say, first of all, he would say, you need to believe in something greater than yourself. But for me, the biggest life lesson, and never obtaining it, but that ethics, as he would say, would be the key to, if you want to be really happy and contribute to a great society, ethics is the key. And if you look around our world today, look at the biggest crises we face. Look at the 2008 banking crisis. Unfortunately, look at our presidential election. Does anybody know how to define personal ethics these days?
Yeah.
It almost doesn't exist. He made that a life effort. He would go around giving speeches and effort, but he certainly defined that on a personal level.
Well, and we've been seeing all these pictures that have kind of been popping up, and we've seen it with some amazing people in, throughout time, all these people that he's met, people that he has, been around, and to know that, his son is kind of taking all of that and putting it into what he meant for you and putting it into a book for all of us, I think is something very special.
Well, his life story, again, he was I'll give you a quick history.
Yeah.
So let's us all know we can be great, okay? And I don't mean baseball star great.
Right.
I don't mean singing star great. Born during the Depression in a dirt cotton patch town in Texas. At 18 months old, spoke German before he spoke English. At 18 months old, his father murdered his brother-in-law and almost killed my grandmother, his mother. He was institutionalized for the rest of his life. 17, he went into the war, World War II. Incredibly lucky guy at so many levels. He was on a troop ship called the Leopoldville, torpedoed in Cherbourg Harbor, Christmas Eve 1944. He went down with the ship, one of the few guys to get pulled out. Why was he lucky? Because he was headed for the Battle of the Bulge, probably would have been killed. Meets the girl, love at first sight. She was engaged to another guy, that's where she got her name. He said, "You sure are Speedy." Till the day she died, she was known as Speedy.
Oh.
And incredible in her own right.
Yeah.
And he would say, "I'm who I am because of her."
Oh.
And it's just, we should all be so lucky. We could be, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the moral of the story, or why you're telling the story, is that it's a little piece of all of us. It's a little bit of your dad inside of all of us, you know, to be great and to do good. And
nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
Never stop improving yourself. No substitute for hard work.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what, Jim, I'm actually going to let everybody know how they can get their own hands on the book and read more in depth on everything that you've put together. But thank you for stopping by so much to give us a little bit of a taste of that.
Well, I thank you so much. I'm deeply appreciative.
Oh, absolutely. To get your own copy of the book, you can visit thebiggestshortguy.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of The Morning Blend.